Welcome back, everybody, to Aim Reviews. It's Muhammad and Adrian, and today we're going to review the film Red One. And this film stars Dwayne Johnson as Callum Drift, Chris Evans as Jack O'Malley, Lucy Liu as Zoe, J.K. Simmons as Nick, Old Saint Nick, Bonnie Hunt as Mrs. Claus, Christopher Hivju as Krampus, and Kierman Shipka as Grilla, or Gryla, I think. Not sure. This movie is very forgettable. But this film is about, after Santa Claus is kidnapped, the North Pole's head of security must team up with a notorious hacker in a globe-trotting, action-packed mission to save Christmas. So what did you get from the film Red One?
Interesting take on Santa Claus. At the same time, it was just another The Rock movie. And you know, he knows where his strength lies, and he stays there. Good for him. Um, but it kept me guessing, right? It definitely new lore. New. I haven't seen many movies with Krampus in it as much. That was interesting. Um, yeah, it had a little bit of Saturday morning cartoon vibes. A lot of Dwayne the Rock Johnson just being himself.
Yeah, that's definitely what he loves to do in these movies. Just be himself, be kind of charismatic. But really, in this movie, I thought that he was less charismatic. I mean, I didn't think that he
Mm.
really sold himself. It was more of like, almost like he was sleepwalking through the role. I he didn't seem like he was really interested. Now, I guess it's but maybe
Yeah.
because he's kind of playing like a downer in
Hmm.
this role, but it like him by himself definitely didn't attract me to the movie. Really, this movie is very forgettable. It didn't really seem like much of a Christmas movie. It seemed more like a superhero movie, a knockoff
Yes.
superhero movie.
Yes.
You know, and all of them, well, maybe except the bad woman, all of them, the main characters, they have been in superhero movies. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Chris Evans has been two different characters,
Hmm.
the Human Torch and Captain America, and The Rock has been almost like a superhero in every movie that he does. But I mean, he was the Black Adam, and then
Hmm.
J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson. You know, but yeah, it's definitely a different take on the Christmas story. Uh, but I wouldn't say a great one. It's very forgettable. It's, I guess, in some ways, something that you've seen before, so you're not really missing a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people care for their Santa to be, really jolly and fat, but you don't get that in this film.
Yeah. I thought J.K. Um, Simmons was. I liked him as Santa. I like the take. To me, the best and worst part of the movies was Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Everything else, I was actually okay with. I was.
So, so you like Chris Evans, like his role?
It it was different, uh, but I wasn't. At least I felt like he was acting. You know, I guess that bar is low, but yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it's just a continuation of what he's done since Captain America.
yeah,
He's trying to distance himself from that character. Like, I'm not just a good guy, or I can play more than just Captain America.
right.
And he's kind of like a deadbeat father who doesn't really want to spend too much time with his child, his son. He's a hacker. He takes on these little jobs here and there from people, kind of like a little mercenary, hacking
Hmm.
things that he doesn't really know what he's hacking into, but he's really good at what he does. And really, that's the only thing that he's good at. Everything else, not so much. I mean, it seems like he would be a smart character, but outside of hacking stuff, I wouldn't say he's very smart.
He's down on himself. He thinks he's kind of a screw up. He's scared to raise his son. Um, so but he has an arc, you know. He has growth that happens. Um, I did feel like the movie though was kind of a rip off of Ant-Man. If I had to do one specific superhero movie, it felt a lot like Ant-Man.
Is it because of a certain character's powers?
Definitely. Definitely. I just feel like it's a ripoff. And you're just calling it, this is like the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, Ant-Man edition without Ant-Man.
A
So,
much worse version and not so interesting. Um, I mean, I think the world that they kind of set up should be interesting, but
yeah.
they don't make it interesting. And I mean, yeah, presents are delivered at night from Santa or whatever, but a lot of this movie is dark. Like it takes place in a lot of dark places,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
and
a
maybe that's
jolly
because of
film.
the bad CGI.
I'm sure that has to, they spent a lot on the beach snowman scene, so I'm not
Why don't they
surprised.
melt?
They're magic. And they have carrot noses. That was very clear.
I mean, they're not your average snowman. I mean, they look really buff, but still, what kind of snow doesn't melt on the beach?
Magical red ones, no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, you just go with it. Um, but I saw somewhere where The Rock, he has like this thing for having red in his titles. The red one, this movie, Red Notice. There might have been something else, but I don't know what it is with the red one. And also, he thought that this would somehow like this is magical. Like people are definitely gonna come out for this. Not so much.
Yeah.
And they spent way too much money on this film, like $250 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, where'd the money go?
Kind of like Shazam, or not Shazam, Black Adam kind of talked it up a lot.
That was better than this. Like the fight with Doctor Fate and
Yes.
who did he fight?
Um,
Whoever it was.
oh yeah.
That was that was
Yeah,
that was worth it.
nameless villain. Yeah, that scene was amazing.
Yeah. Um, for this, I think probably the best part is probably the ending, and not because the movie's ending. I think it's because they were delivering presents and how they delivered them.
Great.
Um, we have a much fitter Santa who can fit down the chimney, really quickly going in and out, delivering your package like it's Amazon Prime, because I think this did go on Amazon Prime. Um, that was pretty good. Maybe we should have saw some more of that type of action. I think that makes it more special because it's a Christmas movie rather than them punching things and you know almost like a superhero movie. But I thought that was pretty good the way that he was delivering presents. But
Unique take that I'd never seen before, except in it, man.
yeah, I mean he's not delivering presents in Ant Man, but
Right.
yeah, yeah, definitely different. Um, but with uh, with The Rock, I mean, really felt like he just sleptwalked through this role. Wasn't really intrigued by
Yeah.
his character. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I think people are in some ways kind of not liking his persona anymore.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I mean, because he definitely used to be a box office draw.
Hmm.
Anytime. I mean, even when the movies were just not good. I mean, he would get a lot of butts and seats and high budget films, but maybe people aren't. They're kind of catching on to his technique of just playing himself.
Yeah. I saw something that said this, I think like the sad reason why The Rock is stuck playing himself in movies or something like that. Or the Rock character. And but I didn't click on the video, but people are noticing that he's just doing that. Um and it's kind of the opposite John Cena approach, where he's trying to come out of the character and be something else. But The Rock is just doing that. Unless you count, I guess, Maui. I don't know.
Is that in Moana, right?
Yeah, Maui in Moana is kind of his only thing that is not just The Rock. But you could
Okay.
argue it's the animated Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Still have not seen Moana 2 yet, but definitely plan to see it.
Hmm.
Um, but with you just saying that name, now going to Hawaii, having been there, it makes it more relatable because that is a part of Hawaii. Um,
It's definitely they definitely do a lot to relate to what's it
the culture, or I'll definitely watch that. But he was probably more charismatic in that character, um, in the Maui character.
yeah.
But in this, definitely not so much. But let's go ahead and dive into whatever I can remember about this story because it is pretty forgettable. Um, but it's Christmas time or right before Christmas, maybe a few days, and you know, the elves are really busy working with Santa to make sure everything goes in order for Christmas, or really the lead up to Christmas, Christmas Eve, to deliver all the presents to all the boys and girls out there. But his assistant, his right hand man, which is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, his character, his name is Callum Drift. Um, he is pretty much fed up at this point. He's saying that this is going to be his last Christmas working. He's going to retire. And the reason why is because he's fed up with all of the naughty boys and girls out there, or people. Like the naughty list has just is kept getting bigger and bigger. Like nobody's getting better. So he's pretty much just fed up. He's not going to do it anymore. He's lost hope, and this is his last ride. Um, Now I'm not sure if anybody tries to convince him to stay on the job. I can't remember, but
They don't have many conversations.
you said what?
I think just Santa tries to convince him. There's not many conversations with The Rock talking to the other elves.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's just the only elf. Um, and then J.K. Simmons as Santa is not really in the movie a lot. He's
Hmm.
pretty much put on ice, so
Right.
we don't see a lot of their dynamic. We have the classical sit on Santa's lap, those type of things where he goes and talks to children, asks them what they want, and things like that. But then all of a sudden, one day, Santa is kidnapped right under their noses, and the man who is supposed to be really good at his job, I guess they got one over on him, Callum Drift, and the person responsible for this, or at least a contributor, big contributor, is Chris Evans's character, Jack O'Malley. So he's a hacker who is really good at his job, and he just takes on jobs to whatever it is. I guess he has connections, but he's kind of working like an underground guy. He's just a hired mercenary, and he hacks into this thing where it helps these people. They are being led by Gryla or Grilla. How did they say her name?
Um, think Lila.
Gryla. Okay. Well, she's some kind of witch who's been like, I guess, a foe to Santa, part
Right.
of this whole mystical world. And
Punishing kids who are naughty lists.
yes, she wants to punish everybody now. That's
Right.
her whole plan. So,
Ultron. Seen this before.
well, Ultron. Well, he wanted to start everything over. He's like, just gonna blow everything up, start all over. Um, but she just wants to punish everybody by trapping them into snow globes, by delivering these snow globes on Christmas night, and to use Santa, um, J.K. Simmons, as the source of the power. They're just going to use him so they could, do all of this at once because he has the power to deliver all these presents on one night. Um, so they kidnap him, and his his team of elves, being led by Callum Drift and Lucy Liu, playing Zoe. She's seems more like an investigator. I don't know if she is an elf, but she's
She's not an elf. She's with Shield.
oh
I forget the acronym, but it's Shield. Movie's ripped
yeah,
off 100%.
yeah, definitely. They thought that they could just take that formula and then slap it on another movie.
Right.
But yeah, she's in charge of trying to find Santa, investigate, and all that stuff. Um, and she ends up landing on Jack O'Malley. Um, you know, at this point, a deadbeat father. I think in some ways he probably doesn't feel good about his relationship with his son, but it doesn't seem like he really cares a whole bunch at first. Um, he has that arc by the end of the movie that kind of just, how they escape just seems like Christmas magic. Oh, now he's, you know, doing better. Now they can be set free. But yeah, he's uh, not really in his son's life. His wife or ex-wife, she's moved on. You know, got got another husband or whatever. But she wants him to spend more time with their son. But he's like, yeah, I'll just pick him up. You know, take him to school and drop him off. But he doesn't really spend too much time with him. And the son definitely does want to spend more time with him. But it is what it is. But he gets
Hmm.
picked up by Lucy Liu and Dwayne Johnson, and they ask him, hey, we're going to use you to find the people who took Santa. Um, and just like your usual out of their usual environment character, they ask all these questions and they screaming like, "Oh, what is this?" All that stuff happens with Chris Evans, um, and they end up meeting this guy who is like a contact that Jack O'Malley had set up this whole hacking thing with, and he tells him, "Hey, don't say Gryla's name because she'll hear you." And I guess she can hear her name from anywhere in the world. And these snowmen show up, these really big buff snowmen on this beach, and they just start fighting. And this is where all the superhero fighting stuff comes in. Callum Drift, Dwayne Johnson, he turns into Ant-Man. He can shrink and I guess have the strength of an ant, like 10 times their own strength, whatever it is. And it's a lot of back and forth shenanigans, all that stuff. Um, Kind of skipping through some of the story. I'm actually remembering more than I thought I would. But this, I mean, the movie isn't like completely awful. I mean, it's not unwatchable, but it's just something that you've kind of seen before in other movies. It doesn't really move the needle. Doesn't really do anything different um, outside of delivering packages with a fit Santa. Um, yeah, it didn't really do a lot for me. In some ways, I was kind of bored with what was happening on screen.
It was fine. The action brought you back in, um, wanting to watch, but it didn't feel like the way that the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies and even the show made me want to watch it. This, not so much.
Yeah, to me, it never had that magical moment, where I don't know. It felt like I think it was missing the children part, like the children experience that magical part. I mean, you did have a son and father, making up and getting closer together. That I guess was magical. But outside of that, you didn't have that one magical moment where it was just a turn. Like in the Grinch, where his heart grew. I
Right.
don't know how many sizes, much bigger, and he took all the presents back. I can't remember some of the other ones, like the magical moment, but Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph
Hmm.
the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all of those, some of the classics. It didn't have that whole magical moment in this
No.
film. I think that's what was missing. Like it didn't seem like a Christmas movie for a lot of it. And we do meet Krampus in this. He's like an estranged brother of Santa. Um, I think was he with Gryla at some point?
Yes. He
Okay,
used to date.
yeah, and I guess he knew her plan, how she wanted to use the snow globes. I think it involved him in some way, and they fought him for a little bit, and then ran off. Uh, and the whole time that they've been looking for Santa, all over the place, trying to find all these leads, he was actually in the same place, the same place where the North Pole. He was just, I guess they had him in like camouflage or something like that. So they've been running all over the place just for him to be in the same exact place. And they try to stop Gryla from using his powers and riding off in the sleigh to go deliver all these snow globes that'll trap all the people on the naughty list, and maybe people even not on the naughty list. I'm not sure, but it's a
Yeah,
really
because
forgettable
anyone
fight.
anyone who could possibly be on the night list. So eventually it would just be everybody.
Yeah, if you have the possibility of being bad, it'll get you. There was something that I've watched that was something like that where I don't know, like it was based on I don't know, like your emotions or something like that. You were judged, and like the whole society was like that, where you were kind of put into groups based on your personality and your emotions. I think it might have been an anime, something like that. Um, but it was all based on like technology and how it looked at you. They had these enforcers, and if you were thought to be like a threat or something,
Hmm.
maybe in the future, then you you were put in like a certain group or something.
Yeah.
But I think I think it might have been called Psychopaths. I think
Oh,
that's what it
maybe
was called. Oh, have you heard of that before?
I have. I don't remember what the movie said. But trying to think of an example of like a person who's had that issue.
I'm not sure, but yeah, we have a big old CGI fight at the end that was very forgettable. Could barely remember anything about it. Reindeer flying off and all into the snow or whatever. But they saved the day.
Yeah, they saved the day. Did we talk about the Krampus game?
Um, well, no, we didn't talk about it. I didn't mention him.
It's it's a kind of, I
But
forget like what part, like as far as chronologically when this happens in the movie, because it's not really completely relevant to the plot. Krampus does come in to help at the very end in the CGI fight. Um, but I guess he earned Krampus. Krampus earned the respect of, or the Rock earned the respect of Krampus by participating in the game that Krampus plays, which is essentially just slapping each other to see who survives.
Yes.
Um,
Have,
and he
ha,
is a massive winner at this game.
yeah. Have you ever seen that in real life? Like people actually do that in real
I've
life.
seen clips of the competitions, and I do want to sit down one day and just watch it continuously. Um, but
I
it
watched
is
commentary on it.
it's violent.
Like, oh yeah, like it's almost as bad as a punch, really. Um,
Yeah, and the wind up, put your hand on the face,
it's an
do a
art to it.
little sprinkler motion, and just whack, and people just stand there like that.
They take it.
Oh,
I don't know if they put
like
like some type of powder in their hand or something like that, right?
I think it is to dry their hands. Don't know why.
Yeah, they sit there and take it too. I mean, oof. I mean,
I
they
mean, the
put
slow
like their whole
mos,
body into that slap.
jaw dislocated.
Or like their face is like so swollen.
Right. The winner
They
always looks rough.
because you take so many slaps. I mean, I don't think you ever escape without like you can almost never escape each round without taking a slap.
Yeah,
Unless like maybe you get the first slap and you knock your opponent out. But I don't think it happens like that. Most times you're gonna
yeah,
get slapped at least once.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, I guess you gotta have like some slapping resistant face or something like that. I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know how you build up your face for that. But that's like a traumatic brain injury right there.
CTE.
See,
Real bad.
most likely, most likely. I mean, it's like boxing. I don't know. I don't know if they call it like slap boxing. I mean, it's not really boxing, but it's like I mean, you
No.
sit there and take like a huge slap with them winding all the way back, almost like twisting their whole body,
Yeah.
like they were Mr. Fantastic, and then putting everything into a slap.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't know if you've heard of the guy. His YouTube channel is called Chiseled Adonis. I think I
Yes.
sent a video, maybe some other video with him in it, but I've seen his
Yeah.
commentary on it. it, and just like the caption picture that I've seen on something, like dude's face looked like it was falling apart, like it was like one side was lower than the other,
Oh,
almost like his face was melting. That's how bad his face looked after so many slaps. But yeah, definitely would not sign up for that. I don't know how much they get paid, but I'm sure it's not worth it.
not enough.
No,
Not enough.
I think I'd rather get in like I don't know, one slap versus 6 rounds in a boxing ring. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I had the gear, like the headgear, take the boxing. I don't know. But as far as this movie, towards the end, they save Santa. He's able to deliver all the presents the Amazon Prime way, sliding his very fit self through the chimney. Delivering all the presents, then coming right back out. You know, he's delivering presents like 5 seconds or less. Almost like how you had to fix a sandwich at Sonic in the drive-through. Yeah, we need these sandwiches to be fixed in 7 seconds or less. 7 seconds.
Gotta be quick.
I just started here.
Scrape that mayonnaise off. That was no mayonnaise sandwich. Don't throw the bread away. That bread's so good. The graft top.
What was
Mhm.
up with them? Like the food been sitting there, and like, yeah, we can't sell this. Oh, can I get that? Nope. You gonna throw it away? Why
Stop
can't I
asking.
save it?
Then somebody turns out we need it for the next order. What happened to the extra Cinestex? Hmm? I don't know. Oh, I tossed them already. Like,
Oh man.
I always put me an extra mozzarella stick just in case one pops, in the fryer.
I
All
didn't
right,
stay
so
there long enough to get free food.
my acne was so bad working there.
I didn't get that privilege. I didn't stay long enough. But yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't think I ever made a sandwich right, or at least not in 7 seconds or less.
No.
Not the right way, not the one they wanted. That's why I had to be back on them dishes
Scalding hot water.
or the grill, grease popping,
Ooh,
popping on your arm. You just build up callus at a certain point.
you ain't stop
Doesn't even
feeling it.
affect you. Yeah,
Throwing them patties like hockey pucks. Clink, 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 clink. They got five
if it
cars
fall
in
on
the
the floor, you
drive-through.
pick it back up.
Clink, 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 clink.
One of them frozen ones fall on the floor, you pick it back up.
Blow it off.
Yeah, it's still good.
That heater kill, them germs. Don't worry about it.
Oh man, definitely don't want to go back to those days.
No.
But
Go in the
nice
freezer,
to
get a handful of cookie dough. Mhm.
yeah, nice to reflect on those times. But let's go ahead and give this one a rating. So the lowest rating is trash, middle is background noise, and the highest is a banger. So how would you rate the film? Red one.
I would rate this middle of the road background noise. Like this movie, I feel like if Kmart still exists, will be playing on the screens in the electronic section. As it looks good. It's general action, but story doesn't really matter.
No, that doesn't really hit any high points for me. Um, except maybe at the end when they're delivering presents. But outside of that, it's kind of a snooze fest. So it's a it's a low background noise for me. Never got that magical moment, even in some of the Christmas movies over the past few years. That I didn't think that they were just so great. They had that magical moment, and I
Right.
think they they missed that point with not having more of the kids in it. I mean, they do have the son, but I mean, he's not really in it that much. Um, but like what was the one that came on Netflix? It was Jingle Jangle.
Hmm.
They had the whole magical moment with with the children and the kids being very creative, all those things. Even the one from last year with uh, Eddie Murphy. Um, even with that, I mean, I didn't think
Yeah.
that was a great movie, but
Was it
you know,
Jingle All
it
the Way? Is that the name of that one?
no,
No. I
not
know what you're
Jingle.
talking about.
Yeah, even that one had magical moments, even though it definitely was not a great movie. Um, let me see what the name of it was. Candy Cane Lane. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yep, yep. Um, even that had some magical moment, but this one never had it. Um, it was just a Christmas movie in title that was masquerading as a very low budget superhero film. Low budget
Definitely.
as far as quality, but not how much they spent because they spent a lot of money, too much.
They're just paying the wrong.
And I think The Rock got $50 million from this.
Wow. Must be nice.
So, I mean, to take was that a fifth? Yeah, to take a fifth of the budget, that's huge. And they definitely didn't meet what they wanted to. Not at
Hmm.
the box office.
Yeah.
I think a lot
It
of
felt like a
people.
Netflix movie.
Yeah, this is a straight to streaming film. It definitely is. Um, but I guess they thought it was just too expensive that they had to put it in movie theaters.
Maybe.
So, I guess getting more subscriptions on Amazon wasn't enough.
Hmm.
Got to put it out there. Um, I think, did Amazon produce this?
Did they?
Oh, yep. Amazon MGM Studios. And Warner Brothers handled the film's international release.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, Amazon pretty much distributed this. They got their name on it, and I think it's on Amazon Prime right now too. It might
Yes,
have,
that's how I watched it.
it might. I don't know if it debuted on there or not.
I don't think it. I don't think so. I think it was in the theaters first. So I remember seeing the trailer for it. I saw in the theaters before I watched the movie.
Yeah, I guess they tried, get all the money that they could out of it, but yeah, people are trashing this. Um, but any other thoughts about Red One?
No, it's an okay movie. It's if you like The Rock, if you like Ant-Man, superhero movies, then you'll this is definitely watchable.
I mean, yeah, it's watchable, but it's background noise. It really
Hmm.
is. It's it's the definition of background noise. But I think that does it for us at AIM Reviews. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure to check out our other platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, and now X. And if you want to send us a message, click the message link to get featured on the show. And thanks for listening.